Hi there, Reject Nation. I'm good. Hey,
I
whoa.
wasn't ready.
Whoa. You hydrate on my time.
It's not smart water. It's dumb water. This is not sponsored.
But, we're going to watch a video today from, this is Sally. Go check out her YouTube channel. We're going to watch a video from What Culture, one of my favorite channels that does list videos. 10 movies already canceled in 2019 and why. I say we just hop right into this, Salamander. Do we cancel Chloe Salamander?
Yes,
How do you
I
go
love
about
it.
that? Okay.
Call me Salamander.
Call me Salamander, the greatest fish to ever swim.
It's an amphibian.
It's this fish.
It's an amphibian.
It's an amphibian. It's an amphibian.
I'm not wrong.
Don't be sexist. Don't try to make sense.
As 2019 stretches out in front of us, it's hard not to be excited by the myriad of mental movies that we have coming our way. And with a huge acquisition of studios, a whole set of Marvel movies poised to wow us, and those indie darling films that remind us what feelings are, it's a great time to be... Oh, wait, what's that? Half of them have already been cancelled? It's bloody February, how has this happened? Alright, that's what I'm here to actually tell you about. Yes, it actually all makes sense now, because I'm Jules, this is whatculture.com, and these are 10 movies already cancelled in 2019, and why.
Half bum me out.
Silver Surfer.
What?
Silver Surfer is arguably the strangest of the recently cancelled movies, because only very recently there was talk of Adam McKay writing a project for the near future.
I didn't even know about that.
I didn't
February
either.
2018, THR
That would've been
reported
dope.
that Fox were going 100 miles per hour to get the movie off the ground. Now, whether those two projects are one and the same remains to be seen,
Not
since
as
there is
fast
some
as
thinking that the
Silver
McKay
Surfer.
project might have been set for the MCU. However, this is maybe jumping the gun, because Fox's projects have slowed down around the big merger deal with Disney.
Makes
and
sense.
This film, unfortunately, has been cancelled as part of Fox and Disney's deal, according to Twitter source and claimed industry insider Daniel RPK.
I follow him.
Given Disney's presumed reluctance to sanction movies they had no say in at the planning stages, but it's a shame nonetheless. However, that's not to say that the Silver Surfer might be out for the count, as McKay told MTV, who knows, maybe in a couple of months it could pop up. I really am excited about that idea. Number 9, Alien Covenant sequel.
It's cancelled,
Another strange one, as this was technically cancelled back in 2017. However, in 2018 there was renewed talk of the project, which apparently was going to be titled Awakening, according to Birth Movies Death. The belief was that the 40th anniversary of the first Alien in 2019 would mean we'd see concrete confirmation of the film, especially when social media accounts linked to the franchise teased that the universe would be expanding this year. How could that not be the perfect opportunity to unveil a new movie and tease more of Awakening? However, that was all ruined when Fox clarified to Variety that there is no new Alien movie being worked on right now.
Poor Ridley Scott.
However, there is no reason that Disney wouldn't look to make a new one, seeing as it would be a definite reason for the purchase of Fox in the first place. Expecting it soon might be asking too much though, so it seems unlikely we'll see or hear any screams in space anytime soon. Number 8, Gambit.
Aww.
This is the will they, won't they story of the ages, spanning nearly a decade.
It's not gonna
of
happen.
rumour, and was originally planned to appear after X-Men Origins Wolverine first dropped. Yet that's not dampened Channing Tatum's desire to become the smooth-talking card shark. He's been attached to the project through 3 different directors, Rupert Wyatt, Doug Liman, and Gore Verbinski, and each and every time it looked like it was finally about to happen. Yet, and I hate to sound like a broken record, Gambit was another of the Fox Marvel movies that is now just being cancelled thanks to Disney's
I want it.
acquisition. It was always the most precarious of those movies, even without a merger, to be honest, but now it's done. In the future, you'd have to suspect that Disney would seek to put Gambit back in the main X-Men movies, at least in part to set them apart from the ones that came before. Number 7, World War Z 2.
This one was a bummer,
Not so long
too.
ago, we were all getting excited about the quite strange news that none other than David Fincher was making the long-awaited World War Z sequel. The original had been one of Brad Pitt's highest-grossing movies of all time, and Paramount seemed to believe that there was hope for success with a follow-up. Sadly, this film has laboured in developmental hell since 2013. Eventually, the film did enter pre-production quite recently, giving us all hope that it was actually happening, but then, much like the mood at the orgy when your mother drops her robe to reveal a body mesh stocking that makes her look like a piece of ham tied in string, it was killed in an instant.
I know exactly what he's talking about.
And also, my
what
list.
visual
After the
for
first
that.
movie went over budget and required extensive reshoots, Paramount were obviously concerned about the costs of a sequel, and word is it that it was cancelled because of budgetary issues, which makes for some strange news, as they also have projects like Mission Impossible 7 and 8 in the works, which are much more expensive than World War Z ever was.
They're guaranteed to profit, though.
Of course, but it would require some serious budgeting, and you'd have to think that Fincher wouldn't be involved by then. I mean, he's not the type of person you leave in the lurch for too long. Number 6, the Joker solo movie and Harley and the Joker.
Oh, is that officially cancelled?
Because both once contained Jared Leto
I never
as the
thought it would
Joker,
happen
and
anyway.
now
People
some would say,
hated him.
thankfully, they don't anymore. It kind of makes sense to consolidate the field a bit now, seeing as the Joker film starring Joaquin Phoenix is set to drop soon, and having two Jokers and an offshoot for one of them confuses the image somewhat. He might still pop up as the Joker in the upcoming TV show that Warner Brothers are teasing and making, but once again, that's up in the air. Even worse is when you realise that the Harley and Joker movie was literally only going to be made because Warner Brothers felt that Suicide Squad had completely messed up the mad pair's relationship, so wanted a do-over. But it makes sense to cancel Harley's film because she is also getting a solo outing in Birds of Prey, which will be coming out in the near future. And again, too many versions doth spoil the grease paint. Number 5, X-Force. When Deadpool 2 was
I didn't
we
realize.
were also told that Fox were working on an X-Force movie for the third in the franchise, with Drew Goddard brought back in to write and direct. Ryan Reynolds would be back as well, and so too would Josh Brolin, as well as some of the other supporting cast members. Rumour also has it that Olivia Munn's Psylocke might return, and that Logan's X-23 would also appear as the new Wolverine.
That would have been so
Things have
cool.
slowed to a crawl so much that the project might as well be labelled as cancelled. There's been no official line that it's out the door, but according to Daniel RPK, again, the film would have to start production in just 2 months from now to beat the Disney clock. And with so many other X factors to deal with, we've still got them, it's pretty much a cert that it's not going to happen. Could we see an X-Force movie with Disney, though? It would be ludicrous for Marvel Studios not to bring Deadpool into the MCU, but let's face it, it's likely just going to be his own movie. It would be a shame for others to be lost in the shuffle, but then again, the Merc with a Mouth does love his cameos, so who knows? Number 4, Multiple Man. Multiple Man could
James Franco was supposed to be this guy, right?
Really?
Years, and while he had appeared in X-Men The Last Stand, he never really stood out as ripe for a solo movie. Still, Simon Kinberg announced it and revealed back in November 2017 that James Franco was in line to play the hero.
Yeah, but he sexually assaulted
September
people.
Of 2018, Kinberg said the script was
Oh,
actively being
James
worked
Franco.
on, however, no director was attached. However, again, as this is an X-Men spin-off, at least in the eyes of Disney, it is unlikely that it will make the cut after the merger. I hate to say it, but Multiple Man isn't much of a draw as fans of his would like to believe, and as a result, no matter how great his solo stuff could be, it's unlikely to be at the forefront of this House of M. Number 3, Kitty Pryde.
They just cancelled all these X-Men movies.
Collide revealed the news that Deadpool's Tim Miller was hard at work developing a solo movie for the famous phasing member of the X-Men, Kitty Pryde, which he would then potentially direct.
I didn't even realize they were doing this
The
thing.
Kitty Pryde movie is very much in development at Fox by Miller at the moment. And it's here that we can wheel out the old dead because of the deal line again, because it's just been cancelled as part of the merger. Jesus, we should have just called this list 10 films made by Fox that got cancelled by this, right? Anyway, will we see this film picked up by Disney? Well, there is a stronger chance for this one than most others, solely because the MCU has reportedly been making a beeline for female-led franchises, and having one of the key members of the X-Men who already has a pedigree in the films might be able to avoid the phasing out her fellow mutants have already faced. Number 2, Star Trek 4. It's been some time
Money,
since
man.
we knew Star Trek 4 was happening. It was actually announced before Star Trek Beyond's unfortunately poor box office performance had been posted, with Paramount confirming that Chris Hemsworth was returning as Captain Kirk's father. Presumably, we would have seen even more timeline tinkering for that to be a possibility, as Chris Pine was set to return alongside him. Yet, because Beyond failed to hit expectations and was an incredibly expensive project, the writing was unfortunately on the wall. Things also weren't helped when Paramount, in an effort to save the project, asked if Chris Pine and Hemsworth would renegotiate their contract fee, but they refused and then left the project to pursue other ventures. Even when the film had some steam behind it in the form of S.J. Clarkson, she then left to direct a prequel series to Game of Thrones, so now as it stands, the project has unfortunately been left out in the cold reaches of space. Number 1, Doctor Doom.
No.
When you listen to this,
I wanted this so
Doctor
bad.
Doom, the villain-led Fox movie that was going to usher in the metallic madman back onto our screens, it seems like one of the freshest superhero genre movies going. It was meant to be a riff on The Winter Soldier while staying close to a core concept of a Cold War spy thriller. It was also going to be a film that wasn't meant to relaunch the Fantastic Four as much as it was just to pay homage to one of the best supervillains going. As Noah Hawley told
Really?
The Observer,
I had
it was
no
meant to be
idea.
a film where we asked the question, is he a hero, is he a villain? What does he really want? And that it was going to be a film that could explore these questions in a serious way. Then boom, the merger converger was activated and Doctor Doom disappeared into the Disney mix. However, there stands a great chance of him getting his Doctor Do quite soon because the MCU is a perfect place for one of the most popular villains in comics. So fingers crossed, but for now, well, we're just going to have to wait. And there we go. Those were 10 movies already cancelled.
Captain
in
America
2019,
was in that movie.
Why? Most of them, unsurprisingly, with the Fox merger, but never mind. It's all fun and games, these types of lists, aren't they? Anyway, as always, I've been Jules. You can go follow me at RetroJ with a 0 over on Twitter. And until I speak to you soon, I hope you have a lovely time. Take care of yourself. Treat yourself the best that you possibly can. Don't let anyone make you feel bad about it. But until then, I will speak to you soon. Bye.
Let him finish the video, you know? I like how this list started off with 2 Fantastic Four spin-off characters here. Number 10 being Silver Surfer. Adam McKay, I had no idea was attached to make that movie. It's kind of crazy to see how Fox wanted to basically do all these like movies within their 2 universes they had of X-Men and Fantastic Four. All of them have been scrapped since the Disney Fox merger. And the Silver Surfer movie would have been cool with Adam McKay behind it. That would have been like a lot of different energy. It would have been very political too. And I feel like they should add a penis to the Silver Surfer though.
That'd be a little too distracting.
Distracting or
Like a flying dildo on some guy. Like,
that would have been really funny. And I feel like what they need is something funny, right?
but now that Disney has them, they can't have that, okay?
That's why we can't do it. Because of freaking Disney. The Alien sequels, I am so glad this is getting canceled. I saw the last Alien movie. I thought it was fine, actually. I wasn't on the hate train for it. It did seem like Ridley Scott, who created the first Alien movie and then came back many years later to do this, seems like he just really wanted to explore this, but had really nothing new to really offer to the table for it. I was excited about the Alien Neil Blomkamp movie where they were going to pick up exactly after Alien 2, Aliens.
I didn't know about that.
You didn't know about that? They were going to forget about all the other sequels and just pick up and do its own part 3. I was excited about that, but Ridley Scott's like, no, my franchise. I started this. I want to keep it going.
That's what I wanted them to do with Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Just forget about all
They
that.
might as well. That'd be actually not a bad idea. Just start fresh, but they're not going to. Those movies are making billions of dollars,
But
Sally.
I think that's what they thought would happen with Alien, and then it didn't.
Gambit. This movie was supposed to start. I knew the guy who was doing the makeup for it, and he was gearing up like, yeah, we're going to go into production in a month. I remember him telling me that. And poor Channing Tatum, who's been practicing Cajun?
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say the place where Gambit is from.
Cajun.
His accent. Cajun?
I don't know.
Oh, dude.
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I'm supposed to be the one who's dumb, and you're supposed to be the one who's smart. You're not John.
Do I look like John?
Yeah, you have enough features. The long hair, the pale skin, the ass.
You think I have a flat ass?
That's how it gets taken. Or maybe John has a great ass. Or maybe I shouldn't be saying any
Look
of
at
these
guys'
words and I'm going to get in
asses.
trouble with everyone I know. We're moving on. Gambit, I really wanted that to happen.
You're like, cut that out. Cut
There
that
you
out.
go. Jokes, people. John has wonderful breasts. Just like Sally.
Mine just always hairy.
Yours is just as hairy as John's.
No.
See, this whole bit is, am I insulting John or complimenting John? Or vice versa?
If it's concerning you know that much about John's body.
I live with the guy, it happens. But I do think Gambit going into the MCU would probably be the best way to do it, because X-Men already has all these confusing timelines, and Gambit was an X-Men Origins Wolverine. I know they successfully did it with Deadpool, but they at least took Ryan Reynolds out of that. They were going to get a whole new actor to play Gambit, Channing Tatum. And I was excited for that. I feel like Channing Tatum could do the role. So
I could still see him
he could totally
in
do
the
it.
MCU universe doing that. That makes sense.
The Gambit property will go over to the MCU territory. I still would love it if they kept Channing Tatum attached to do it.
That'd be fun.
Hopefully Kevin Feige doesn't get all Kevin Feige about it. And with World War Z getting canceled, World War Z 1 went way over budget.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that that's the only reason.
What do you think it is? Brad Pitt? He's hard to work with, huh?
No, not that he's hard to work with. He hasn't worked since, all this stuff went down. And, I know that he's, really going through a hard time.
But he is in the new Tarantino movie.
Yeah, but that's Tarantino. Anyone would say yes to Tarantino.
The first World War Z movie went way over budget. They
didn't make it back? I thought they made it back.
They might have just broken even because they had to pretty much double it after shooting it for so many months. I don't think it profited to the point where they're like, oh yeah, we'll add double the budget for the next movie. Because I was excited for this. David Fincher and Brad Pitt have done several movies together. Fight Club, Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Seven. So the idea of them doing another movie together and for it to be the follow-up and for David Fincher to be doing a zombie movie sounded super cool to me. To make a comparison of them doing Mission Impossible 7 and 8 back-to-back is different because those movies have proven to be wonderful profit-making machines for Paramount Pictures, whereas World War Z would be a much bigger risk.
I think, the risk factor is more so than the budget. They just didn't want to take the risk because doing any sequel to anything that big is just, it's a lot. Also, the time that's gone by.
It's been a long time, yeah.
I feel like if they were on this, a year after, I could see them doing it.
Because there'd still be hype for it.
Exactly.
As opposed to now where you're like, oh yeah, World War Z, that movie. The Joker solo movie and the Harley and the Joker
Were
movie.
they talking about Margot Robbie's movie as well? Because she was just going to have a Harley Quinn movie.
They were going to have a Harley Quinn movie, but now she's the lead of the Birds of Prey movie. Joaquin Phoenix does have his Joker movie coming out, but the way when DC reports their news a lot of the time is that first off, they announce 45 movies at once, and you never know which one's really going through development until you see a trailer for it. Even then, it can still be a little suspicious. Jokes, people. Don't be so sensitive. Even when the Joaquin Phoenix one was announced, they're like, no, that's a totally separate thing. Well, Jared Leto's is still around. I think they've completely scrapped Jared Leto's. Yeah. The response that they've had to Jared Leto wasn't great. He's already doing the Morbius film for Sony. They're trying to slowly let people kind of forget about it or not even ask about it.
Once Joaquin's Joker comes out, ain't no way you can remember.
Yeah, man. That movie's going to be so good. Have you seen the test footage for that?
Yes.
Oh, gosh. So hot.
I still miss Heath, though.
Well,
can't beat Heath.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay. We'll see. I'm gonna be the first one to come out and say it, just to cause a Twitter storm. I was gonna say Joaquin Phoenix, the first 5 minutes of it, already better than Heath Ledger's.
Stop.
Just to piss off people on the internet.
You're hurting my brain.
Did you see Deadpool 2?
I boycotted that movie because of what happened on set. I know the SAG rep that was there for the accident.
What accident?
Someone got killed on that set.
Someone got killed in the Deadpool 2 set?
So I didn't see it. It was a really messed up situation, sorry.
I didn't know that. Oh.
So no, I didn't see it.
Well, I still would have wanted the X-Force movie. Drew Goddard, man. Bad Times at the El Royale was great, and I love when he works with ensembles. It's really crazy to see, most of the movies on here are films that are canceled because of the Disney-Fox merger.
My problem, I love Disney. Do you remember when they were going to do their first horror film, The Haunted Mansion, with Ryan Gosling and Guillermo del Toro?
That was them?
Mm-hmm. That was Disney. So my thing was, I know Disney has been open to getting a little more darker, but my issue is that it's still Disney, so I feel like a lot of what we were expecting from Fox, just if Disney takes it on, it's not going to be what we're expecting.
I heard something that they're planning on doing a different type of Marvel banner to do R-rated material.
Okay.
I don't know if that's confirmed or if that's just something I think I heard. I for sure read about that, but I don't know if it's a confirmed thing from Kevin Feige over at Marvel or something like that. Okay. But they do want to do something like that.
Kind of like Disney owns ABC, but they can still have adult content on ABC.
Yeah, it's just to make a distinction for their MCU timeline and to have a different thing going. It gets kind of confusing because they were Black Widow is part of the MCU, but they want to do an R-rated Black Widow movie. So then it's wait a minute though. So if they continue Deadpool and that's R-rated, now it gets kind of confusing because are they trying to say Deadpool's not part of the MCU official timeline? That's where they're putting in this R-rated banner. But if you're putting Black Widow over there. Marvel usually figures it out.
Yeah.
They're pretty good
They
at
got
that.
a good track record for figuring it out.
They had like movies in store, like Fox, that I had no idea about. I didn't heard about the Multiple Man one. I don't think people would have cared about that. And I heard about the like. I'm sure there are fans out there for the Multiple Man comics, but you know, it's not that popular of a character. Or like the Kitty Pryde character too.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Ellen Page because the 2 X-Men films she was involved in were under the helms of some terrible directors. I mean, Brett Ratner and Bryan Singer. Poor Ellen Page having to work with some
but she
terrible
was in
directors.
Inception and can't really beat that. So.
Yeah, so suck it up, Ellen.
No, I just say makes up for it. I don't know.
And the Doctor Doom movie. I get why this is number 1. That would have been the coolest one
It
to see.
would have been the freaking coolest.
They've tried the Fantastic Four movies twice, and Doctor Doom they've obliterated
They've totally
2 times.
downplayed him so much.
And I feel like getting a Doctor Doom movie would be cool, but to see him in the MCU, ooh, I am. Out of all these characters listed here, more than like Deadpool or Gambit or whatever, Doctor Doom in the MCU is something that really, genuinely excites me.
Yeah, I've ridden the Doctor Doom ride at Universal.
Is that for the joy, for the enthusiasm?
Well, it's just, no, it's so creepy, and I'm like, why doesn't he come across this creepy in the movies? The fact that a theme park ride is, like, creepier than, like, they've portrayed him.
That's a good point.
I just think he deserves a big movie, a second, third chance.
For a second, I thought you said I rode Doctor Doom.
I did.
I thought you were I rode a guy named Doctor Doom.
It
And I'm like, wow.
it went down.
Oh, man. Earth shattering, I'll tell you guys.
Oh, God. Full of great jokes today.
Great jokes today, guys. Before we wrap this video up, I would like to give a page from the day shout out to a man named TJ. Totally Jumbled.
Totally jumbled.
Totally Jumbled does like Sally LaMonaco. Very much so.
You said my last name right.
I know. It's always a conscious
You
decision.
always take a pause.
I have this really like fast racing thought. LaMonaco. Like this is very fast. But TJ is actually, his wife is taking a trip to, I think, Reno, and he was saying that while she's gone, he wanted to take a trip to LA and watch Avengers Endgame with us. And
really?
I said, no. You leave me alone, you freak. Stay pledged to the Patreon page, but stay out of my real personal life. Because off camera, I'm very condescending, I'm very snobbish, and I don't like the people who support us.
That's why we're friends, because I don't support him.
We don't get along off camera. People know that.
In between takes.
Yeah. Sure. Come watch Avengers Endgame with us.
Oh, that's so special.
Now, if anyone else wants to come watch Avengers Endgame with us, oh man, I'm in for I got a lot of messages coming my way. Look what you started, TJ. Look what you started.
Someone had to be first, and it was TJ.
He won. Yeah, you guys can go watch Wonder Park with me this weekend. Subscribe to The Real Rejects. Click that notification bell. Follow Sally on the YouTubes. Catch you guys soon.